Submitted for the approval of the Midnight Pals. Created by Bitter Corella.
Bring them corduroy, his jacket is, and his socks are gingham.
Sorry I'm late. It's me, JRR Tolkien, famous author of The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. I was explaining why my orcs aren't racist to a student, and it took an extremely long time. I brought snacks. Now be careful, everyone. This Lembers is very dense.
Awesome. Thanks, JRRT. Hello and welcome everyone to Unicorn Fuck Club, the fantasy campfire for fantasy writers. I'm Hans Christian Andersen, and I have an exciting announcement. And for once, it's not that I have a new forever boyfriend or possibly forever girlfriend. It's that tonight I have a whole bunch of new boyfriends and girlfriends, because we're going to be hosting a special visit from the kids over at the Midnight Society. I haven't met them yet, but I'm just positive they'll all want to be my boyfriends and or girlfriends. Really, it doesn't matter. Anyone will do.
Wait.
God, I'm just so lonely.
What's that, Hans? You said the Midnight Society is coming over?
Yes, C.S. Lewis, author of the Narnia series, that is exactly what I said. Say, C.S., would you like to be my boyfriend? We could laugh, hang out,
No thanks, Hans.
braid each other's hair.
But why is the Midnight Society coming here?
Because our story tonight isn't just fantasy, it's also horror. And our storyteller is Angela Carter.
That's not a name I know.
The Magic Toy Shop, Nights at the Circus, the Magic Circus.
No, I mean Angela is not a name I know. What is it, Moorish? I've never heard of it.
That might be because it's a woman's name.
Oh, I don't know about this. A woman at the Unicorn Fuck Mooch?
That's right. Are we sure a woman can tell a fantasy story? Does she understand the most important thing about fantasy, which is describing feasts in just absolutely obsessive detail? I don't want anything else described, like, say, cool monsters or epic battles or any of that. I want feasts. I love them.
Yes. And while John is describing his feast, I don't want this new girl leaning over and pinching his chips. She could have ordered a whole feast for herself. Am I right, chaps?
No guffawing, CS. We shall show this female that unicorn fuckers are gentlemen. Hats will be doffed appropriately. We shall listen politely to her fairy tale and tell her afterwards how very nice it was. And then when she's gone, I'll whip out the port and cigars and tell you gents the tale of Bongo Boofnoggin's breakfast.
I invited her, so she stays. Also, she smiled at me, and no one's ever done that before. So I say, here she is. Welcome to Unicorn Fuck Club, Angela. Say, would you like to be my girlfriend? We could laugh, hang out, braid each other's hair.
No. Have any of you boys actually ever fucked a unicorn?
Have you?
I have bent the tab and slitted it in the slot marked X, for every girl is at once the unicorn's malign trust and the perfidious virgin.
Yeah, I think I might have. I mean, whatever it was, it only had one horn.
Midnight Society. You made it.
Hey, everyone. Angela, Hans, CS, JRT.
Hey, sorry we're late. Of course, you all know me, Stephen King, author of Eyes of the Dragon, that classic fantasy story you all know and love. Seeing a lot of new faces here. New names we'll have to remember.
Isn't it bad luck to have a female at a campfire?
That's ships, Howard.
Why would you have a ship at a campfire?
Steve? I'm scared. I've never been to another campfire before.
Hey, it's okay, Dean. Angela's gonna tell us a fairy tale. You like fairy tales, right, Dean?
Oh, gee! A fairy tale? Oh, gosh, I can't wait.
Sup, fuckers.
Hey, Mary.
There was nobody at our campfire, so I followed the smell of burning, like I always do. Unless I can't smell burning, then I set fire to something.
Oh, my good Christian God, now there's two of them. Two women in one group.
You can have more than one female character, you know. We're not all fucking Smurfette.
It's Adam, Eve, Cain, Abel, and Seth. Not Adam, Eve, Cain, Abel, Seth, and another female character.
What? You never heard of Lilith?
Non-canon.
Oh, hi!
Oh, Frank Belknap Long tagged along, and he brought his fursuit.
Can somebody fix my zipper?
Frank Belknap Long tagged along, and he brought his fursuit.
I have always depended on the company of wolves.
Wow, she said the line.
I'm surprised no one tried to shoot you in that thing. It's quite realistic. It'd be so easy. But back to what's important. I hear you're telling the story tonight, Angela. Nice.
Do we really have to listen to another woman's story?
This one's got cake.
Cake?
What kind of cake? Is it chocolate?
Oh, now that sounds like a proper fantasy feast. You know, come to think of it, I think it's great to have a woman telling the story for once. I believe there should occasionally be a woman in things, after all. You know, for the fans.
And there should always be a disgusting, drooling man incapable of... Yes, this is a fairy story. Not a fairy tale. There's a world of difference.
Wait a minute. A fairy tale? Aren't those for babies? I'm not a baby. I'm a big boy. My auntie says so when she brings me my cocoa.
Who brought this nerd?
That's just Howard. He's one of our friends. Although, come to think of it, I don't think anyone actually likes him.
Hey, I belong here. I wrote The Dream Quest of Unknown Kadath. That's fantasy.
But is it really?
It's got more made-up words than real ones in it. And I drew a map in the end paper. There's the Forest of Talking Weasels. There's the Citadel of the Moon Frogs.
It does have a citadel, John. That's 10 points.
Oh, very well, but does it have any feasts?
It has cats that eat people. And zombies that eat garbage.
I'm not sure that technically makes it fantasy.
It has veiled racism.
Oh, well, why didn't you say so, old chap? You're in!
Good. I'd hate to have done all that veiling for nothing.
Am I going to tell my story this decade? Or would I have to wait for a more sincere liberation than the broken promises of the new century?
Ah, right. Certainly. Entire reason we're here. Yes. Very well, Miss Carter. Hans, as the resident fairy tale expert, feel free to jump in whenever.
What the
Sure thing, friend.
Bloody hell. All right. Submitted for the approval of Unicorn Fuck Club. I call this story The Tale of Little Red Riding Hood.
Oh, I know this one. In this story, the girl is wearing a Red Riding Hood.
It is a hymen.
Yeah.
Cracky.
Can we talk about the wolf yet?
We have to talk about the girl first.
Bother. Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure. Once upon a time there was a girl, but she was also a woman, a virgin and a whore, Madonna's unblemished womb and the depraved discharge of Babylon the Great. She was an adult, but she was also having her first period, and she was very confused, and because her father was a leering drunkard who had been locked up in the village clink, snip snap, she lived all alone with her mother, who loved her very much.
Mother, I finished preening myself in the mirror. Look, I did my own makeup.
Good girl. You know no one loves you more than me, right?
Not even grandmother?
Well, now that's not fair. She is a window to a gentle fantasy, and I'm your jailer. I keep you in at night and discipline you from socks to locks, and all you do with your grandmother is eat cake and butter. Incidentally, because your grandmother is very ill of late, I must ask of you a task which may prove the end of your innocence. I want you to take something to her.
A cake and a little pot of butter?
Oh, cake. That sounds like foreshadowing for a feast.
Is the cake sugar-topped? Oh, but you can't forget the sardines and toast. What a wonderful little feast it will be.
It's in the middle of a bloody vagina. Forest. Why would there be sardines?
I'll be happy to deliver them.
Good. If you're wondering why the cake is sloshing, it's because I've baked a bottle of cherry cordial into it. If I know your grandmother, she's going to want to get sloshed the second she sees your slatterns mask.
What's a slattern?
A very pretty kind of girl. Now then, here's your little yellow basket. If you lose it, I'll slap the teeth out of your mouth. Here's your red shroud. Try not to let it get perforated. Take the path through the forest and do not stray.
What a lot of rules. Can't we just post her the cake and butter?
Do you want to get tipsy with Grandmama or not?
Oh, yes, Mother.
Thank fuck she's finally gone. Now I can rub one out.
Wow, Frank. Great howl.
That wasn't me. Wolves go woo. They have big, bappy pores and can't hold anything without magnets.
Oh no! That means there are real wolves out there.
Relax, Dean. Wolves are just big, friendly dogs. Why don't you give Frank a hug? Frank, why don't you tell Dean your fursuna's name?
Tindalos. He has one devil wing and one angel wing. And he lives in a different dimension where he mostly sits around with his cock out.
Fascinating. Can I get a photograph with you? Here, sit on my lap and pretend to be naughty.
Sure. Like this?
Mary, will you snap our photograph?
I'll snap your neck if you ask me again.
Give me that brownie camera. All right. Say Silmarillion.
Silmarillion.
Back to the story. The plump virgin, who was also a well-trod whore, suppurating with diseases, set off from her mother's house down the road toward her grandmother. The forest is an animal on its own, and its nightly hunger was scraping in around her. There were phallic trees thrusting from the sour earth in every corner of her vision.
And then she met a wolf.
Yes. And then Little Red Riding Hood met a big, bad wolf.
Well now, what is a pretty little maiden like you doing out here alone in the middle of the night?
Walking? The wolf is named Sexism, and he brands wayward young girls with the red letter of his attentions.
I'm bringing my grandmother some cake and butter. I guess she's going to butter the cake and then eat it.
And where does this voluptuous gilf live?
Not far. Just beyond the forest and past the mill, at the edge of a tiny little village.
God, she's so naive, I can barely contain myself. I suppose I'll go and see her too. How about a race? You go high and I'll go low, and we'll see who penetrates that cabin door first, shall we?
Girls mature faster than boys.
Hang on. You're an adult, right? It's unclear. I've seen a lot of saucy retellings where you're 5'11" with huge knockers.
In every woman is a maiden, a mother, and a crone, navigating ceaseless contretons about menarches and C-sections and wrinkles.
Okay, whatever you say, cutie. Right then, I'm off.
What a nice man.
When does Feathers show up? I love the fucking circus. Is she going to do a flip and kick the wolf's head off?
You're a fan of my work.
Fucking A-right I am. I like when you put hot young men lost amid ever-shifting geometric planes of self-replicating unreality in your stories. And bearded tree guys who fuck like stallions.
I fed a horse a carrot
I don't
once.
know. This story isn't the version I heard. For one thing, I thought she was supposed to bring her grandmother wine.
It is always wine o'clock.
And for another thing, isn't the wolf supposed to go flower picking with Little Red Riding Hood?
I thought I'd cool it with the flower plucking metaphors. Dean looks quite confused.
Dean's not great with metaphor.
Don't get me wrong. I'm hopelessly in love with the idea of the wolf and Little Red Riding Hood. And that's why both of them must die in some contrived fashion to make the story as melancholy as possible.
Did you say collie? Like Lassie?
Dean.
I don't have to listen to this crap. I made a video game, for fuck's sake.
Rare nerd moment for you, Clive.
Do you want to tell the story, Hans? Isn't that what you men like? Biding your time with a febrile urgency whenever a woman is speaking, waiting until it's your turn again because, God, what interminable nonsense this bird is spouting. Is that right?
No, I'm not like that. I'm one of the good ones. It's just that you're taking some license with the story. But your words are so big and pretty and your sentences are so long, I guess it's okay.
It's a fairy story, Hans. The details are irrelevant. It lives inside us eternally as part of our shared cultural memory. Besides, how many of your stories were your own and how many were based on folk tales you heard as a child?
It's different when a man does it.
That's right. Man inherited the world from Jesus Christ, who is a lion. And women are things like witches. But no witch is so strong that Jesus can't beat her up.
I'm going to throw the lot of you into my stew pot and use your fat to make flying unguents if you don't let Angela continue.
I'm going to make some sweet stew, let me tell you.
Clive, what does that even mean?
I'm just saying, I can do some pretty witchy stuff myself.
You're not a witch. Witches are girls.
Some are men.
Now, the sedulous old wolf knew grandmothers were easy pickings, so he loped through the forest like a hand up a leg.
I'm making great time, but I'm working up quite an appetite.
At the same time, Little Red Riding Hood was capering about with moths and gathering berries and flowers and looking at the moon and pondering the thread of her chastity unraveling faster and faster.
A flower for me, a flower for you, a berry for blood and flesh for a stew.
The wolf finally came to a cozy little cottage, and, with a conqueror's mien, he took to the door and puffed himself up and said,
Little pig, let me in.
Who's there?
Oh, shit, right. This is the one with the grandmother, and I was really craving some pulled pork. Why, it's me, Grandmama, your perfectly pretty Little Red Riding Hood, and I've brought you, what was it? A little cake and a pot of butter, which Mother made.
Truth accepted. Pull the bobbin and the latch will go up.
Oh no, without my magnets, I'm having some real trouble with this lock.
The house represents a vagina, right? That tall, yonic roof.
If it was me, I simply wouldn't let the wolf into my no-no place. Hey, where's my cake? I'm gonna eat some of Tolkien's lembas.
No, wait! Those are like 1,000,000 calories!
My girlfriend says I can have all the cake I want.
That's because she and Alistair Crowley are fattening you up to eat you.
Huh? What?
This is just like my Robin Hood weight gain fanfic.
Guys, I have to vomit, but I'm scared.
Here, take a deep breath, Howard. Drink some
The
water.
wolf's affection for sin is realized through gluttony, and in his rapacious consumption of flesh he is also a rapist, and also a Sardian who craves the kiss of a whip across his back, and to fondle a woman's firm, round buttocks.
Almost. Got it!
And with great gouts of gore flying like ribbons through the comely chamber, the wolf gobbled the old woman up. He burned her hair in the fireplace and spent a while in the mirror admiring the girth of his carnivorous success.
More? This story has everything. How big did the wolf get? Like, how fat?
Oh, I don't know. Pretty fat, I suppose.
Details.
He became an ungainly carriage of his own greed,
Oh, God,
a
yeah.
well-stocked larder of rippling flesh.
Oh, God, yeah. That's the stuff.
What a meal. I suppose I could leave, maybe go crash a wedding and eat the bride, but that little girl is coming and I would be remiss if I didn't strip her to the bones.
The wolf lurched toward the old woman's boudoir and found a fetching little corselet. Of course, he was a real tub at this point, so he had some difficulty squeezing himself into it. But in the end the pretty garment made a fine figure of him, and he dragged his swollen shape into the bed where he had devoured the old woman.
Ah, all snuggled up in bed, wearing lady garments, waiting for my second course. What a fine evening. Who the hell is that?
It's me, Grandmother. Little Red Riding Hood. I'm here with your delivery of hard liquor from Mother.
Hard what?
My goodness, she must be hoarse with syphilis. Liquor!
I intend to. Why, hello, granddaughter. Pull the bobbin and the latch will go up.
Despite the fact that the floor was a slaughter's shadow of bits of blood and bone and teeth, Little Red Riding Hood assumed nothing was awry when really everything was. Women are taught never to be a problem, and so always keep their mouths shut. The foolish girl lowered her defenses and mislaid her trust directly in the wolf's slavering jaws.
Toss that red cloak into the fireplace, my pet. You won't need it anymore.
Yeah, okay.
That's one less virginity in the world.
What? She only burned her cloak. Weren't you listening? Silly woman.
I'm really heating up here.
No, this is all wrong.
Come over here, my love. Let us have a look at you. My. Be a dear and eat the cake and butter, won't you? Before you come in and join your sweet granny in bed.
The wolf called with the covers pulled up to obscure his nose and one of Granny's lice-ridden blonde wigs to hide his ears. For some reason, he had also slathered himself in lipstick and liner. Little Red Riding Hood obeyed, eating the cake and licking up the pot of butter like a pussycat.
Ew. Is this, like, symbolic?
Clearly.
Of what?
I am not the resident expert on this one, Howard.
She placed the bottle of cordial aside and approached the bed.
Why did I have to eat what I brought you? I'm going to get plump.
You just answered your own question.
Why, Grandmother, you seem so different.
I like this Wag story.
No, John, it's a wolf. Like Maelgrim.
You mean like Draugluin or Karkaroth?
Are you guys speaking Welsh or something?
It's Quenya, right? I love references. My Dark Tower books are riddled with references to your work, JRR Tolkien. Or can I call you jerk?
Somebody shut these nerds up.
I have a question. Can I ask a question?
This had better be good.
Well, you see, I was thumbing through my notes and, well, are you doing Charles Perrault's version or the Brothers Grimm? Because in the Brothers Grimm, there's a lot of differences, mainly in Act 3.
Yeah, like, when are we going to get to the sausages?
I'm doing my version, and there's only one kind of sausage in this story.
Hell yes.
Why, Grandmother, what a big, moist nose you have.
All the better to snuffle you with.
Why, Grandmother, what big eyes you have, glowing like saucers of Greek fire in a devouring gaze of matchless impiety.
All the better to trace along your woman's curves and plunder glances of your naughty knickers.
Why, Grandmother, what big, squishy paw pads you have.
All the better to grab your ruddy little tits with.
Now the wolf sprang from his integument of bed sheets and, shedding all propriety, cracked open his jaws, which dripped with hungry rime, and his member was stiff as a soldier.
Why, Grandmother, what big canine dentition you have. Is that 3143?
All the better to eat you with. Come here!
In the orgiastic throes of her dawning womanhood, the girl became the lover in the mouth, a banquet of hot flesh, and as the wolf gave her incredible all, she picked the lice from his blonde wig and fondled his ears like velvet tongues. The big bad wolf felt so empowered by Don and Granny's bloomers, he lifted Little Red aloft beneath her quavering thighs and eased her into Granny's siege d'amour, where he redoubled his efforts to blow her house down.
Is he eating her or fucking her?
Yes.
Oh no, he's eating her.
He sure is.
Greedily the wolf lapped every drop from her bloody chamber and every morsel from her pretty white bones, and when he was finished, he was positively creaking, so he collapsed atop the love chair and began to snore.
A nap, the natural conclusion of any feast.
I don't know. I won't be convinced until he's had a bath and sung a song about it.
Did the wolf get fatter?
He grew fat on the richest quim he ever tasted.
Frank, I think you got a hole in your fursuit?
Yeah. Took me 2 hours sewing to get the snaps lined up right.
What kind of feast is that? Where's the cheese? Where's the roast pheasant?
Where's the Turkish delight?
Where's the pork?
I'm a wolf in the bath.
The wolf, packed to the gills on cots of woman, slept deeply, and as he slept, a tall, ruggedly handsome woodsman was strolling along and saw the cabin door hanging open. Because he was a man, he felt entitled to enter any woman's cottage at any time. Taking it as a tantalizing invitation, he stalked inside and rubbed his bristly chin as he regarded the vast shape of the wolf, lying prone upon Granny's custom furniture.
Hey, I was just passing. And as a man, I must give you my opinion that I don't appreciate the unkept thatching on your cottage, grandmother. Oh my God. Who'd have guessed Little Red Riding Hood's grandmother is a werewolf? I never saw that coming.
No. The woodcutter can always see through the disguise. He's a man, not a stupid girl. He won't be fooled.
Very well, Hans.
Why, judging by the circumference of that wolf, I'd wager he's eaten the old woman. Ugh. And judging by the reek of coitus, she rode his face like a penny farthing. I totally saw that coming.
Guys, it's getting really hot in this suit.
So take off the head, Frank.
No! You can't just take off your head in front of everyone. They'll know you aren't a real wolf. The complicated layers of illusion will dissipate like...
A lovelorn mermaid?
Yes! And the magic will die. Everyone will think you're just a guy in a costume.
But everybody knows he's a guy in a costume.
Oh no, the doggy is sick. What do we do?
I sit corrected.
I don't feel so good. I think I might have taken one too many disruptor stun hits at the Klingon party.
I think you'll find Klingon disruptors have no stun shedding.
The woodcutter took up his gleaming axe, with which he had once struck limbs to be laid like cord during the 30 Years' War, and did what men do best: muck everything up.
Frank is suffocating, and the zipper is stuck.
Frank?
Dear me, what would Aslan do?
Frank? Hang in there.
You gotta save him.
I've got to save her.
Fuck it. Let's cut him out. Get my knife.
And my axe.
Keep still. This won't hurt much.
Fuck's sake, Frank. Keep still.
Oh my...
Gently.
Violently.
Oh, careful there.
You guys know what you're doing, right?
I have seen this many times with horses.
Oh, Jiminy Christmas.
There.
I'm in.
And so, the brave woodsman took his axe and carved open the big misogynist belly of the wolf, revealing the shape of the grandmother and of Little Red Riding Hood, safe and sound.
We're saved.
Have you seen my pills? I'm supposed to take them whenever I'm eaten by a wolf.
Oh, Grandma!
I'm free. You saved me.
Frank!
Oh, I wish they'd covered the forest floor with sarin wrap like they did the party floor.
Oh, Frank, you're all right. Oh, this is just like a dream I had. Anybody got a pen?
There was a man inside the dock.
The huntsman offered to fill the wolf up with rocks and toss him into the river, but Little Red cried out,
No, you can't. He's a fantastic lay.
The wolf, coming to, saw his belly ripped asunder.
I look like a potato skin.
My slavery to the loom and the needle's heavy yoke has made my fingers thickly calloused. I'll suture you up with a bit of catgut from this lonely old mandolin. but it's going to pinch like the devil. You'll need to be pissed drunk. Here, drink this bottle of cherry cordial.
Ow. Ow.
You can keep the wig. It looks better on you.
Ow.
While I'm here, does anyone need anything else chopped?
That's your ending? No death? No frozen corpse of a little match girl?
Just because it's feminist doesn't mean it has to be dark. Like when Mommy shot Bluebeard.
I just cannot deal with these upper endings. Hope Punk will be the death of me.
I was distracted the whole time because I was researching Little Red Riding Hood's ethnicity. The wolf, was he like a metaphor for an Italian or something?
I liked the ending. It was kind of sweet.
Yeah. Like, maybe they're going to have a four-way or something.
Exactly. Something nice like that.
The ending needed more dead match girls.
That's all well and good, but I'm more curious about Frank Belknap Long's fursuit here. This furry business seems to have some merit.
I knew you'd see the light, John. Maybe Santa will bring you a fursuit next year.
Or he'll just drop Kahu off on my doorstep.
Can I have a new switchblade?
Is something wrong with that one?
No. You can't have too many.
No. Knives are for boys. Girls get potions.
So, what kind of animal would your fursuit be, JRRT?
A hobbit.
That is not an animal.
I'm sorry, who died and made you the leader of Unicorn Fuck Club?
Maybe you?
Hobbits are in the monster manual, so they count.
Well, shoot. Sorry, Jert.
I had furries in my Imagica stories. See, Angela? We're both picaresque.
Now that's what I call intersectional.
The scary wolf hurt the nice lady.
If you think wolves are bad, just wait until you find out about she-wolves.
Submitted for the approval of the Midnight Pals starred David AULT as Clive Barker, Rodrigo BORGES as Edgar Allan Poe and JRR Tolkien, Rebecca D'Souza as Mary Shelley, Robin Johnson as H.P. Lovecraft, WREN Montgomery as Dean Koontz, and Jason Robinson as Stephen King, with NICOLETTA GIUSEFFI as Angela Carter and Mother, TENEST TANG as Little Red Riding Hood, LUPO as the Wolf, TERRI Lynn Hudson as Grandmother, Dexter Howard as the Woodcutter, Joe Butler as C.S. Lewis, Brad Barnes as Hans Christian Andersen, and David Court as Frank Belknap Long. Music and audio production was by Robin Johnson. The script was written by NICOLETTA GIUSEFFI and edited by Bitter Corella and Robin Johnson. Submitted for the approval of the Midnight Pals is a work of social and literary satire. All characters are fictitious, especially the real ones, and any elements of work not in the public domain are used for purposes of parody and comment. Follow Submitted for the approval of the Midnight Pals on Blue Sky, or find all episodes and more information at midnightpals.com or wherever you find podcasts. Angela?
Yes, Edgar?
Dean really wants you to say, and they all lived happily ever after.
They almost never do. The seemly livery of alliance is shed as easily as a chrysalid.
Yeah, that was my kind of happy ending. Did the wolf and the woodcutter find comfort in each other's big, hairy chests?
Is she gonna say it?
Look, he was really well behaved the whole time.
Yeah, he wasn't fidgeting as much as usual. He really likes fairy stories.
Is she gonna say it?
Come on, Angela. Throw the boy a bone.
And they all lived happily ever after.